Thank you very much, J.W. Marshall. And just to give a heads up to everybody that's here, Open Books, which J.W. and Christine own and operate, is one of the 17 Seattle area bookstores that will be part of a circuit on Saturday, which is Independent Bookstore Day, much like Record Store Day. So you could go, there will be things to see and read, and
a free sale book at Open Books for every, with every purchase. Sale book. Note that. Sale books.
Also some kind of contest or competition?
Yes. If you go to 3 of the 17 bookstores and get this passport deedy bob, which you pick up at the first one, stamped, you enter a a drawing for a shitload of signed first editions. That's a technical term. It's a bookstore term. You'll work on it. If you go to all 17, which is physiologically impossible, and get stamps on Saturday, you are in a drawing with the only other person who actually did that for, and this is pretty cool, 25% off at every bookstore that's in that list, that's 17, for a year.
Wow.
But we're talking bookstores on Bainbridge, Mercer Island, Edmonds.
You made it unattainable.
You gotta start to be in the
Yakima, Walla Walla.
That's right.
So steal someone's identity and, you know, yeah, exactly. Disregard all law for your books, for your literature. I think that would be something I would do.
All right.
I would give that a look. Not this time, but maybe if it doesn't end up in flames this year, then maybe I'll do it.
We'll do what we can.
So, okay, moving on to our second reader of the evening. Jeanne Morel, dear friend of mine, has taught in factories, hospitals, colleges, arts organizations, retirement centers, and prisons. Her chapbook, That Crossing is Not Automatic, was published by Tarpaulin Sky. Awesome press, if you don't know it. And one of her very short attempts at fiction was nominated for a pushcart very recently. Awesome, awesome. Recent poems have appeared in December Magazine and Floating Bridge Press, and on the websites for Poetry on Buses and the Oregon Poetry Association. She has an MFA from Pacific University and lives in Seattle, specifically down near where I live in the Columbia-Hillman City area. So everybody, welcome up, Jeanne.
the butterfly wing in your eye? What about lunch? The sky stretches Zeus clear to Florida. You don't look hard enough, or you would know. I feel like this is way too tall. I feel like I'm standing on my tiptoes. So we just bring it down? Talking?
There you go. That was
good.
good. Keep talking.
Keep talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you guess if you could ignore it.
Okay. Pretty good. The next song is dedicated to my friend, who some of you know, the poet Sam Rojas Chua. Train song. From the chair, the track consumes the train. Platform shakes one car to another car, vibrates, swerving, metal floor. Careful, I cut caterpillar paper. Caterpillars drop or stop me, but what of butterflies? Or stop, but what, or which side are you on? Side are you on? Buddha's or William James? Maybe David or St. John's? Or stops, but what butterflies float underground? Intoxicants or worn with mass departure? Red, blood red heart exodus. Towns flash by, impractical. Jalopy shift at railroad crossing signals. 3 is uncle, 4 is blue. Lay down your sword, shift down the long, long track, that long, long track going west. Untitled. I remember sidewalks and the gray tile in the upstairs bathroom. Smooth, small squares. Seagull and crow. Here's the curve, and there the needle. Open your eyes. See people, screaming people. Dad is sad, very, very sad. From California to the New York skyline. He had a bad day. What a day Dad had. So I tend to incorporate other people's lines. Some people may have recognized some of those lines from the classic Hop on Pop. So this next poem has an epigram from William Carlos Williams, The Rose. Logic. To engage roses becomes the geometry. William Carlos Williams, The Rose. The rose ends and geometry begins. Other poems come through the blank paper, but not this. To engage the breathless stagger on the back stairs. The evangelist's assistant withholds information. Who knew the scent of yellow roses in the kitchen window overpowers the odor of fish in the trash? Really? Who has missed what completely? Her fork trembles, and she makes tentative stabs at the cauliflower. The notion of the theorem is deeply intertwined with the concept of proof. Who knew the arithmetic of autumn, dry twigs and berries, could conjure mornings, immersion, an unexpected gathering of Hungarian numbers, a space to step into. This poem also is a little bit wintry. Splintering tiny soup bowls up into the sky. Grounded in a place you can't see, you will not be allowed off the gondola mid-mountain for fog. You'll float on. 5 ah sounds or another howl, and on. On top, float, float beyond the pole rope turn. The gondola will pause. Parachute down, tombe, descend. And first sentence on first word of second line, pop. The lifty will flop up his arms, up in awe. A childlike image, Russian dolls, divisive painted scarves, dislocated red smiles. You will follow an imaginary row of Russian dolls cometing across the sky. The first doll will pierce the atmosphere of Earth, Prussian blue, the color invented by accident. But you will unglue landscape, metered ions within sentences, an elegy of jellyfish. So about a year ago, I started writing a series of poems from a prompt in the book. I think it's called Poets Teaching Poets. Is that it? Yeah. And this Maxine Chernock did a series called Japan, which was an abecedarian, and each poem started with a 5-letter word, and then there were different constraints. And so I tend to stall out in things, so I got to like L or M, and I sort of quit. And then I showed it to a friend, and he said, "Oh, you don't need to go on." He said, "But let's get rid of those titles." And so he gave them all the same title. So I'm going to read a bunch of these. So the title for each of these in the series is now "A Rose Compass Points in Many Directions." And so a thud, the photo down, the piano, one cat dashing up, the other looking on, an accident of birth, cork tail, this continent or another, and an orphanage closed down by the feds. The NSA picks through fuzzy photos, cats patrol the internet, throw up on rugs, virus in utero, embryo of no lotto, no luck. A rose compass points in many directions. Lobby bar, glitz and decor, gold trim, Marlboro slim, skinny shots, water backup rocks, purple lava, ocean warning, salt on rim, hall holding, alarm, fire, photographer's story, Shangri-La, dark room, tractor, bombs, homemade mortar, artist, smartest, ennui, dollar swapping, wabi-sabi, loss, high tea. A rose compass points in many directions. Gloria, hallelujah, American tulips, Craftlin, Schoolin, Christian chorus, One Dot, missions, hotspots, red drape, Baptist landscapes, split curtains, it's all right, it's all right. Korean, Korea, waters, water, consecrate. And sometimes they were very sad. The female poem, grotesque, decay, bodies, vomit, trash. Jackpot. Deranged on the floor in the corner, I stall in gold earrings and a black t-shirt. Hello, it's noon. On the game show of empty rooms, the host calls out the pall of hollow costs. But empty hours ring. The only major state of grace, ka-ching, ka-ching. Casino, cherries, plums and sevens. Salmon, sagebrush, and Syrah. Pick the one that doesn't belong. Forget the score. Perchance, your lucky number. Drop a deep blue blossom on the carpet swirl. Watch it fall, a stranger. This one, to give you a visual, is Right Justified, in case that helps with your aesthetic taking in of the poem. It rang and jumped off the wall, the telephone. Vladimir and Vicky Clark lived down the block. Said Vladimir to Vicky Clark, I can't quite see you from here. Vicky Clark got in her car and called a couple hours farther on from the truck stop in Ritzville, Washington. Said Vicki Clark to Vladimir, "It's easier for me to hear you way out here in the beyond. Your words crunch the gray-blue hush of sagebrush past the parking lot. And did I mention desert air carries sound, so no need to shout quite so long and very loud." The Anthropocene epic. Love comes familiar on the hum of aircraft. This is the opposite of sorrow. The cardboard slab the dry cleaner unceremoniously sticks into the fresh pressed shirt. The terror of soft pillow feathers spilling beneath your head. In 2015, a new quarterback will be named to the team. Unforeseen changes will cascade, reverberate across the earth. The trees and carbon will exchange pleasantries in turn over lunch. This is a poem on the destruction of ancient artifacts. Remember this, the car engine shifting down in traffic, the hum of a freshly pressed shirt. I sit in a clamshell. I sit in a clamshell on the cusp of the ocean, the coast in Oregon. I go to my room a clamshell in the hotel basement corner, dim lit but cozy. Mussel shells are sexier. I remember a mussel shell stretched out on the pier like an elegant nightclub, waiters in white shirts, bourbons clanking behind the bar, couples in white wine and scallops and bacon, silver, purple walls. Ignore the paragraphs. This morning I photographed the drizzle on the sand, the tourist on the boardwalk. Someone was talking about poets in the kitchen, dancing. So little lady, to make himself the big bad sheriff. Did you get your problem all worked out? Distraction. Take the syntax so twisted. I sit ocean on the foam coast edge and boardwalk, coastal forest. This morning I turn my back on the forest. I toss in the ocean. Ichiro came from Japan. He played ball for the Mariners. Ichiro spoke. It was a fly ball, and I caught it. Where are these chocolates from? Dorothy loves chocolate. You spoke. I uncovered my head at the Portland airport. I had been married for 30 years. Skip ahead to the dialogue. Two agendas fight for control of the scene. The underground emerges, riptides and salt water. The sky reaches to California. Like an egg without salt, the morning was ruined. A rose compass points in many directions. Snake oil, burning details, whatever deals. Devil don't care. The pale salt of seesaws, teetotalers, sinners in flip-flops, swimmers in formal wear. Brimstone, the bar, the hotel, an aquarium winter. Octopi, octopus, suction and blossom. Unfolding paper flowers, plastic water cups, salt water on ice, a metal decanter, the lobby breezeway, keys forgotten, infernal. Failure to turn off. My mind spins, a Motel 6 on the expressway, from the basal ganglia to the thalamus, the jarring rattle of the ice machine off the lobby from the central sulcus down the hall. I live by the ice machine, the prisoner told me. It's so annoying. My mind goes back to the parietal lobe, the remote control, cheap and black rubber slinky coil inside my forehead. The thermostat of my body haywire, the telephone call from Leeds ringing, the cars pulling up in the lot honking, and one more thing, a rumpled bedsheet to keep me from falling into slumber. I feel like I've been up here for hours, haven't I? A rose compass points in many directions. Idaho Falls, the sheltered, warm Mormon run of luck, a rare book in good condition, casually, insouciantly handed over, realized when open could sell a couple $100. Now out from Missoula on your 30 days out, but so far luck, but so far carnage, poets, photo posted, censored, blessed, first lunch meat, jokes. Meditation for cats lost to time. That our affections may carry themselves on closer examination beyond us and the gondola. Perhaps not a gondola at all, rather two lantern kites rising up from the bonfire over the ocean black night, soundless above the roar, but for pinlights from stars. Upwind, then but what of the socket, the wires from the ceiling, like old men who retain the memory of things past? The mobile balances over an empty crib, the walls and ceilings blank. Moon squiggles on a painted egg, a far cry from breakfast. The crucifix sways in the chapel. I'll do just a couple more. I think that because of the microphone, I forgot to thank Greg for getting this all together.
Right.
Let me do just two more. A rose compass points in many directions. Jumping tulips, mint-sip cocktails, toothpicks, olives, salted, waltzing, socialists, whistle sticks, city council, Who's-its, defense slip, missile fix, tip jar, Boeing parts grounded, minimum filament, deja, 100 underfunded tunnels, underfoot, underground, tunnel vision, citizen, Tin Man, Oz. And then most of these poems, as I said, have been new, but here's an old one. An uncertain landscape. Without the certainty of morning coffee, I wander across an unsure landscape. A steep incline rises from a pool of mountain water. I climb to the ridge. The earth begins to liquefy under me. Wandering down a street near my childhood home, it seems suddenly dusky, dodgy. I wonder if I should stop walking, get in a car. Marvin Bell materializes in the bright light of the AM/PM, and I ask if he has a car, if he can drive me to my childhood home. He says he can. He is driving to the north end. He can stop on the way. But wait, he has forgotten his hat. It's getting to be a tick with me, he says, forgetting my hat. And I think of my father putting his car keys in his hat and setting them down on a coffee shop table. A little trick he picked up on the highway between Tonopah, Nevada, where he married my mother, and all the stops on all the exits ever after. A trick he picked up after leaving too many hats behind. Thank you.